Greetings, Starseeds and Lightworkers. This is Ava here, and today we have a question from someone named Amin, and they ask, I want to ask about prophets like Muhammad. What makes their teachings spread? What is the difference between Muhammad and Ava? I mean, does the source of information such as angels, God, or aliens have an effect on the spread of the teachings? Interesting question. So let's go right out. I'll put you in touch with DiYeena, the Pleiadian, and those of you who are new here, welcome. It's good to have you. Greetings, this is DiYeena of the Pleiadian Family, and we are here to bring the love, like we always like to say, and to remind you all what a great job you are doing here on the planet, even though some of you do not like to hear this very much, you see. And you want to know about the prophets. You see, this is very fascinating. You see, it's a very fascinating topic, you see, because what over time is consistent is that you have had prophets throughout. Does not matter what religion, so to speak, or what context you are looking at it through, what lens. You see, there have always been historically different people that are able to somehow, what you would call, for lack of a better word, seeing into the future or bringing forth information that seems very relevant for the time and the place, you see. And so what is, when you say something about wanting to know about different beings being a part of the information coming through, it's kind of the second half of the question, you see. And so what is the difference, you see, between some of the other prophets in your world, Muhammad and others like this, you see, and the Ava or other people that channel, you see, in this way, you see. And really, it is not necessarily that it is different, you see, in a certain way, you see. It is the same in this way. It is the same in the sense that whether it is a prophet or a person channeling, you see, what they are doing is being open to receiving information from a higher source, a higher frequency than is on the current timeline, current dimension. You see, so they are simply able to tap into a higher dimension and receive information, whether that be from their higher self or from what you call the God, or what you call different extraterrestrials, off-planet beings, angels, guides, you name it. You see, there are a plethora of beings that are waiting and available to provide information, you see. And certain people have different contracts, you would say, with certain beings off planet to have this type of relationship, you see. And so it is simply an intuition. It is simply a psychic opening, you see, that is present with both the prophet and the channel, you see. And so in those ways, it is really the same. You see, what makes it different is the type of information that is coming through and the specific purpose, you see, of the information and the purpose of the prophet or the channel itself, you see. And so this is where it gets a little bit interesting, you see, because you had certain prophets over time that were very much predicting within the time frame that they were living, you see, and providing people with very practical advice for how to move through the life, you see. And so they became very revered, you see, and were able to provide very helpful information, you see. And then there are others that would be more like dream interpreters, you see, people that would be profiting in that particular way of being able to help people process the dreams and bring forth the information in that way, because this is another way of what you would consider almost like channeling in a certain way, depending on the person. Some people receive through the dream world, you see. So there are all these different ways. And then you see the ways that people channel. You see there's a plethora of ways that people channel. It does not always look so dramatic like it does with the Ava, you see. And so it is a wide range in that way as well. You see, it all comes down to circumstance and purpose and timing of what is really necessary. And so all of these ways that it intersects is really about the particular person and what they're here for, what they're here to. Some people come in with this particular mission to foresee what is coming on other timelines, you see. And so certain people are very much tapped into all the different timeline options. And so they're able to then give prophecy for what is to come, because they are open to that timeline. They're open to seeing what is, you see, in these different ways. And it is simply, again, all already is. And so it is not that we are predicting something that is not yet happened and changing the course of the future. It is not at all what is happening. It already exists, you see. And it is simply the collective mind that is playing out the different timeline possibilities based on frequency and vibration. You see, so you are creating your reality based on the frequency you're choosing to vibrate at, and then therefore choosing the different timeline that you access. And so these prophets were able to tune into these different timelines and then offer this to their people, you see, as a lot of times as warnings, you see, for if you do not change your ways, this is what will happen, kind of thing, you see. This is very different mostly from what you see in your modern day channelers, you see, who provide more information in the present moment, perhaps, you see, or in Ava's case, more helpful and specific information around a specific purpose, you see, for this particular being. It is really around helping with the recollection of the frequency of love and helping people to really access and remember that circuitry of love and how to actually create. It is really a remembrance in your power as creators through the frequency of love, and having you to come together as the collective that you are of light workers to be able to remember that power, you see, and all the ways that it works together with the earth itself, and how you can amplify the power through the earth and through your collective, you see. And so that is a bit about this particular one. And so everyone has their own unique mission, their own unique purpose. You see, so it is really like that. You see, it is not so black and white. It is really intentional with each particular person, each particular fractal of consciousness, you see, coming through with a particular mission. And so even with the prophets, you see, sometimes they are accurate because they are able to tune into the overarching collective consciousness and see where things are headed. And this was a lot easier to do in what you would consider your past, you see, on your particular timeline in the 3 dimensions. When you look backwards into your past as you experience it, what you can see is you can see steady progression in a very consistent and predictable way. Predictable is a very good way to describe it, you see, because what we are experiencing now looks very different than that. Because what we are in now is such a rapid ascension process for both the earth and her people on it, that it looks like so many multiple timeline options. And it looks like different frequencies on her planet choosing different frequencies of timeline. And so it is much harder to accurately predict which one the humans are going to choose. Isn't that fascinating? So it's much harder, and it is almost to the point where anything that is being predicted now is almost interfering with free will, because it is moving so quickly that it is almost touching onto that frame line, you see. And so it is very dangerous at this point in our history to be in the mode of in the business of prediction. You see, because it is really playing with free will with the humans, you see, because you are moving through so much so quickly, and you are really doing a great job of doing your work, your internal work that is allowing you to free up in vibration and lighten up in frequency and awaken up, you see. And so this is why it is a natural process, you see, that has to be honored. You see, and so this is really what you would consider like a little warning. You see, when you are dealing with others that they claim to be channeling and different information, especially those that tend to tell you what is going to happen. You see, and there are DiYeena and those that come through here are very, very cautious about any kinds of predictions. You see, we can choose generalities around the things that are consistent within the timelines, but there is a lot when you look at the timeline options that is so vastly different, you see, that it is hard to even give certain energetics, you see. So we do our best to be able to provide you with some overarching energetics of what is consistent within these different timelines without pinpointing it onto one thing for you, and deciding it for you, deciding your fate for you, because that is not the way it works. So we hope that provides a little bit of clarity and a little bit maybe more of questions. You see, you post below if you have them, you see, because this is meant to spark more curiosities, you see. And we love you all very much, and thank you so much for the question. And we love you all dearly, and we see you soon. Blessings. I trust that this message was exactly what you needed to hear. If it was, give it a thumbs up. Share it with those you love. And if you have a question for DiYeena yourself, you can leave it in the chat below, or you can head over to the website in the description below and post a question there as well. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.